we met at my house, my college house. We were having a party, and you and your crew of international student pals came to hang out with us, and just maybe made some jokes, had some laughs, and then we started spending a little bit more time together to get to know each other, and we had a good old time. And then we spent a summer apart, and then you came to visit me, and then that's when we decided we wanted to take things a little further.
Wow.
So from the beginning, did we have a plan as to which one of us would eventually move to be together?
To be honest, I think that from the beginning we took it very much as like, let's just see how it goes, because obviously not living in the same country, it was going to make things like a lot harder. And I think it would have put on like too much pressure, especially because we were 20, 22 when we first met, so it was kind of like, see how it goes. And then the more serious it got over the years, I think we talked a lot more about it, but I think it's been really natural, which is why it hasn't been a kind of difficult thing for either of us to kind of choose to move.
Just try to be diligent about planning and sticking to plans, about talking more. I think the tough times usually come around when we talk less, be that texting, Skyping, calls, whatever that be. Because sometimes the hardest times come between the longest times that we see each other. And like one time we spent 6 months apart, and that was pretty hard. But in that time, we have to be really diligent about chatting more. Just if we're feeling down about something, just talk about it. That usually helps.
Yeah, you're cute.
You too.
I mean, you're pretty cute, I won't lie. But you have 2 freckles, just here and here. It looks like you kind of like blinked and like one got smudged below it. Like, you know, when you do mascara and you like close your eyes and it gets smudged below. That's what your freckles look like, and they're really cute. Also, you have really long eyelashes and it's really unfair. Also, that boat is really loud.
I thought you were going to give a really serious and deep answer before you chose my freckles, so I'll say that I think the cutest thing is when you or she laughs and you go up really high, and you call it a cackle, I call it a giggle. It's more like a type of thing. I think it's really cute. I think that we talk as much as possible. Sometimes more, sometimes less. Depending on circumstances, we don't really have any rituals. As far as like texting goes, just sort of a consistent flow throughout the day. It does kind of suck that our time schedules are off by 5 hours, time zones I mean. But when it comes to Skyping, calling, Skyping, things like that, we just try to find time. Calling, sometimes we just drop calls, see if the other person's free.
Because it gives a bit more normalcy, hey?
That definitely does, and we don't really try to we don't have a ritual, we don't really have a schedule, because that adds some sort of, strictness to it. And then if you can't meet that, then it seems like some sort of failure, but we try to avoid that generally and just try to talk as much as possible and let it happen as it does, because that's just how we think it would be naturally if we were together.
Okay, there are a couple of questions that are quite similar, like basic question, but how do you deal with the long distance? I'm about to be away from my boyfriend, move abroad, and I'm worried about it. And also quite a lot about kind of dealing with the guilt of traveling by plane so much. And I think I want to tie all these together because, of course, I feel guilty every single time I even step on a plane, every time I even buy a ticket, etc. And the only thing that really makes our long distance relationship kind of, I guess, how do we actually deal with it, and how do I deal with that guilt as well, is knowing that there is now an end date. So we'll come to the futures question in a bit, but we both now have an end date for when we will actually be living in the same country. So yes, of course, I still feel guilty when I travel by plane, but because I know that that is coming to an end quite soon, it helps me to kind of manage that kind of eco-anxiety and that guilt with kind of really increasing my carbon footprint. And I would really suggest, if you are in a long-distance relationship, if you have an end date where you know, that makes things so much easier. I mean, it's taken us 5 bloody years to get to this point, but it makes a massive difference when you do have an end date. And if you don't, you need to try and manage that really, really, really well, because that's where we've had our problems, when we haven't had an end date in mind, and that's where we've struggled. So now getting to the point where we do have an end date, it's made both of those things, the guilt about flying and also the just dealing generally with a long distance, just so so much easier.
Can you impersonate me?
Oh my god, Amy, like, you're the best thing that's ever happened to me, and I can't wait to spend the rest of my life with you. Oh my god.
Totally off.
I'm joking, I know that's not I know that's not how you sound.
Yeah, I mean, it's not that bad.
Look, it's better than your impression of me.
Have you ever considered an open relationship?
No, obviously not. That's why we were together for like 8 months before we decided to, like, I think, be together properly, because obviously we're long distance, and no, I don't want to share you with anyone. Blah.
Goddamn right.
Have you ever thought it wouldn't be worth it, especially at first? How did you find the willing to try?
Yeah, sure. I mean, there are many times, we've been at this for many years now, especially at the beginning, you know, you think all the time, like, oh, we're not going to see each other for many months. Is it really worth waiting that long? We've had some tough times over the last couple of years where you, especially like, not necessarily if you're arguing, but you feel like, oh man, we're not talking very much. And sometimes the thought just creeps in, like, is this worth it? And then maybe sometimes you think, no, it's not. Sometimes you think, yes, it is. And then you just keep going forward. And then I'd say that when you realize that it is when you have really great trips together and you spend time together, be that a week or a month or 3 months or whatever, and you realize, yeah, it is worth it.
And you love me.
Yeah, that too. That's always a plus. It's not difficult to know that I love you. It's difficult to understand what that is, and sometimes that battles with whether or not it's worth it. Sometimes, you know, you have to think about what's best for yourself, because sometimes you think, like, what if I don't see you for another year, you know?
Are you trying to tell me something here?
No. What I'm saying is that, yes, there are times when you think maybe it's not worth it, but if you think about it a lot and weigh things and realize that the person is worth it, then the decision kind of makes itself, and you just keep on going forward.
Do you have anything else?
Cute on camera or whatever.
No, I was gonna say, do you have anything else you want to say? Like, because a lot of you guys asked us for kind of communication tips and things like that, and I guess we weren't like giving you tips. We were just kind of saying about us and like what we do. But I think when we didn't talk very much or didn't text very much or call very much, that's, I think, when we had like a lot of problems. Mm-hmm. You think so? Yeah, I'd agree. I mean, when the communication fell apart or just, you know, got strained, then things got tough. So yeah, like that's the only way that we like made everything like work now. Yeah. Is like talking as much as possible, but also not getting annoyed if someone like forgets a Skype date or like you don't, like being busy, etc. Like we both have lives. Right, we both have our own worlds that we've been living in this whole time, and things happen that we can't predict. So sometimes you just have to be flexible and don't be too stiff about it, because then you can get angry and that can compound into other things like breaking down in communication, and it can be a downward cycle. So it's good to stay on top of stuff. And also not take things too seriously. I take you pretty seriously. Yeah, but also like remembering to have fun. Like you guys are in a relationship, you're meant to be having like a really nice time, and when things do get hard, like it's always good to have a bit of jokey jokes to just lighten the mood. Or to go out into the Welsh country and have a bit of a alone time. Yeah, honestly, because we both live with people, like this is the first time that we've been somewhere together, just us two, in like 2 years. It's been a while. So sometimes it's really important that you prioritize like just spending time together. Ja feel? Anyway, this was really fun to make. I had a good time. Yeah. If you have any more questions, please leave them down below. And yeah, as soon as we kind of like basically we've made plans to move to the same country and to like live together and stuff, but because of like visas and circumstances might change, etc., like that's the only reason we haven't kind of shared that information with you guys. But there is an end in sight. 2020 is going to be the year that we become a sustainable couple. Which we are stoked about. So yeah, when all of that stuff is like definitely confirmed, then I will share it with you guys. But thank you for all your questions on Instagram. If you don't follow me, go and check it out and follow me there. And thanks for being on my videos. It was a grand old time. Alright, bye. Peace.